So we'll call the meeting to order of the Strathcona Gardens Commission for Wednesday, November 4th, and I'll entertain a motion to adopt the public agenda.
I move with the agenda.
Second.
Anybody opposed? That is carried. Any business arising from the minutes, or no, adoption of the previous minutes of October 7th, please.
Move adoption.
Second.
And any discussion? Anybody opposed? Motion is carried. And I was trying to get through this so quick, we missed the petitions and delegations. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Yates to invite Josh Visser, President of Campbell River Minor Hockey Association.
Mr. Chairman, I believe Mr. Visser is online with us and seen the presentation, and so I'll be looking forward to seeing what that's about, just as you.
Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Visser.
Thank you, Andy, and thank you for giving me some time today, guys and girls. I really appreciate it. Michelle, congratulations on your newest election. So here today to propose to you guys that Campbell River Minor Hockey installs a video streaming system into Strathcona Gardens. We're quite excited at the opportunity to do this. We have a system lined up called Spidio, and we would be liking to install 4 cameras into rink 2 and 4 cameras into rink 1 and 2 cameras into rink 2 at this time. And it will allow us to stream games and practices to all of our members. I do have a short video of it if you guys would like to see that.
Absolutely.
So I'll just share my screen here with you guys. And there is no important audio overlay here for this. So it should just give you an idea of what to expect. So with this, it's a completely AI automated camera system that will follow the play and allow you to watch from any device. It's really quite remarkable. It's professional quality, not much different than watching a hockey game on TV. So like it's showing every device, and then it's quite impressive.
So Josh, just a question. Is this something where people would need to sign up and to sign on, and would there be a fee to do that? And is there also the cost for installation?
So I do have all that information there for you. The cost of installation is going to come at about $40,000 is our estimated, or to get everything into use. Installation is expected to be at about $10,000. That is on a very conservative estimate based from LEMAC. Electrical. Campbell River Minor Hockey is prepared to cover all of the costs. Of course, anything that is any help that would like to be given would be, sorry, I've got my workout. Any help that would like to be given would be greatly appreciated. But yes, Campbell River Minor Hockey would take on all of the costs. We do have to charge a pay-per-view for each game or practice. We would plan on putting that at the bare minimum allowable pay-per-view, so it'll be about $2 for house games, and for practices and we would put it out to our representative teams to see what they would like to pay and charge, and hopefully they would get a kickback for their individual teams on that. The big thing why we do want it is right now our sanctions from BC Hockey and Vancouver Island Hockey is that we're unfortunately not allowed to have any spectators that aren't volunteering into the games. And as I'm sure Strathcona will attest to, it's been one of those contentious issues with our members not being able to watch their children play. And we're hoping that this will help alleviate some of that or all of it. It would be quite useful for us going forward, not just for this. We see our future use of it being a great importance to people that maybe are camp workers or grandparents that live out of town, visiting teams, or anyone else that can't be at the rink. It would be as easy as going to our website, logging in, and watching the game. We would be open to letting any other user group of the facility use it. They would just have to contact us and get us to set the cameras for a scheduled time, and they would go from there. So we see it as potential for the CR Storm to use it, CR Skating Club, lacrosse, men's league, whoever would like to use it. We're open to letting people use it. If we're allowed to move forward with this, Spidio has given us a go live date of December 15th, assuming that we could get everything installed in time. LEMAC says that it would be achievable on their end, so we don't see any delays there unless they run into something that unforeseen. And that's about what I have.
Great. Just before we go to Commissioner Lee, Josh, I really appreciate you bringing this forward. This not only would address the current unfortunate situation that we're all in and parents wanting to watch their kids play, but also I could see this long term for family members, whether it's brothers or sisters or grandparents that live in other parts of the country or wherever, being able to access. So Commissioner Lee, over to you.
I just wanted to ask Josh, who is responsible for the cameras once they're installed at Strathcona Gardens? If we had an errant puck or lacrosse ball hit the cameras, are they insured, or is Spidio responsible for replacing them? Who would be responsible for that cost?
So that one can be open for discussion. We haven't spoken about insurance on the cameras themselves yet. We would hope to add some sort of protection to them so that this doesn't happen. As far as replacement, we would be doing that with whatever our operating fund allows us for the year. This year, obviously, we are quite tight because we've been giving all of our members discounts with everything going on and trying to ease the burden that COVID has applied to everybody. But that is a foreseeable thing, and we hope we don't run into that, and hopefully we can safeguard it in a way that we don't run into breaking cameras.
Okay, thank you. I have Commissioner Gunnerud, Evans, and then Ms. Garak.
Good presentation, Josh. It's been a pleasure working with yourself and Mason since I was approached at our special Strathcona Gardens Ice Users meeting there a couple of weeks ago. Thank you very much for assembling this in a timely fashion and getting it forwarded to this meeting today. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, great presentation. I really like the idea of the accessibility, which, you know, is just so many opportunities, I think, and it also addresses these current times with COVID for sure. My question really, Josh, is more around the fee that you would pay, and I appreciate that you're talking about a potential user fee, but the fee that you would pay, is it set for, say, 5 years or something like that, or is it something where it has the potential to increase significantly? And I'm talking about from Speedio or Spidio.
So there is an annual software fee that comes in at $5,000. Our big hope on this is that we would be able to recover that with the fees, but assuming no other increases or anything large, that's on a given year, that's well enough for us to cover with our normal operating fund.
Okay, and it's so sorry if I may just ask a second question. So the installation, I think you had projected something around 40K total. That included 10 for installation, and then on top of that, an annual 5,000. But do you have funds? What percentage of the operating funds of the 40K do you currently have?
So we are waiting on the BC Gaming Capital Assistance Grant, and I do have a sponsor lined up through my work that they are hoping to cover $15,000 of it. Currently in our operating budget, we have set aside half, so that if one of those two does not come through, we will be able to move forward. If two of two don't come out, it's going to be quite tight, and we'll have to go look into our retained surpluses and make sure that we are able to do that.
Okay, well, yeah, thanks so much. That's helpful.
Thank you. So I have Ms. Garak and then Mr. Yates, and Cal, did you have another question?
No, I was good. Thank you.
Okay,
Chair.
I see your hand still up. So Corinne?
So Josh, thank you for the presentation. Josh, and it probably may lend into Tom Yates's question around privacy of the information and streaming, and who has access to getting this information and who controls that information. And the setup of it, meaning, is it hooked into our systems from an IT perspective? I know John Schmulin, who's on the line, likely wants to know a little bit more about how that works in our facility in terms of, is it tapped into existing infrastructure within our facility? What that means in terms of if it's being streamed, how does that connection happen? And if you can talk about privacy and installation on those areas, would like to know about that.
Yeah, of course. So as far as when the cameras operate, the cameras only operate for the time that we set in. So we would set a schedule and they would go live for that set period of time for a scheduled event. It would only be on the field of play itself, and then a little bit of runoff on the sides, which is given. From our member standpoint, we have our members sign a waiver that we are allowed to film and take pictures and use them for our promotional use. And we do have a waiver for privacy, waiving that for streaming purposes that we have been using for the sake of Facebook Live, is what some parents have been doing as they go to other rinks, or in this rink to share right now. And
our staff, like, you wouldn't be filming our staff doing Zamboni cleaning, that sort of thing, like our staff that are on the ice? So
that's the only thing that I would have to clarify with them, is if there's a way to, while play has stopped, we can overlay a graphic. But as far as the Zamboni driver, that would likely be live to the stream. As far as data protection, it does get run into their servers and holds it for the amount of time that we would like. We plan for our recreational games to only hold that for a short period of time to watch. On the rep side, because there is quite a significant use for them for coaching and feedback point of view, including like advanced analytics on space between players and things like that, we would hold that and give the team coach access to that to provide game tape to players.
Does it stream and be kept content in Canada?
So what I'm going to suggest here is that we've got Mr. Yates, we've got Commissioner Babchuk. We've received the presentation from the delegation, and let's get through that. Then I would think it would be appropriate to have a subsequent with direction for Josh to continue to work with Corinne and Mr. Schmooland and Mr. Yates, going through the logistics of this. I think that may be the most appropriate way to go. I'm seeing Corinne nodding. So Mr. Yates, thoughts, comments?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, my questions would overlap some of Ms. Kurak's, and in addition, comment on exactly the direction that you've just outlined. So,
Thank you, Commissioner Babchuk.
Thank you, Chair. And yeah, I think that that's a good direction as well. But the other thing that I was just wondering that maybe we can consider through that is, if the infrastructure is there, what is the availability of other user groups approaching minor hockey as well? So I know figure skating, even some dry floor stuff. So if we could sort of get that put into any sort of future discussion as well, that's great.
Thank you. So, and I guess the other question is this, I certainly like the idea. Is this something that us as a Strathcona Gardens Commission or the Strathcona Regional District want to entertain and being a part of as well? But I'll leave that for staff. But is there anything further for Josh at this point for receipt of the proposal?
And if I could make one point there to just address Ms. Babchuk's questions, we would love and be open to allowing the other user groups to have access to this, if they so choose and find use in it. I see it as a very positive thing. For example, the CR Skating Club, when they have their competition, it's an opportunity for them to allow family members or people that are coming from out of town to go in and watch too. And I'm sure that once this goes forward, that the Storm would like to be able to use it as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Josh. Really appreciate you bringing this forward and having the initiative. Seeing nothing further on this, I'll entertain a motion to receive, and then a subsequent for direction to staff to continue dialogue with Mr. Visser.
I'll make the motion to receive the report.
Second.
Any further discussion? Anybody opposed? That's carried.
Subsequent, Your Worship, I'll make, or Chair, I'll make the motion that Mr. Visser work with staff to further develop the concept that was presented today.
Second.
Any further discussion? Staff, do you need any further direction?
Nope.
Anyone opposed?
If I could have a comment, Chair.
You may.
Being the COVID situation and the issues that have arisen with no spectators for a foreseeable length of time, I think time is of the essence here. So I would like to see things proceed quickly if they at all possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Babchuk, did you have anything further?
No, thank you.
Okay. Then I'll call the question. Is anyone opposed? That is carried. So Ms. Garak and Mr. Yates and Mr. Schmulin, you have your direction to work with Mr. Visser, and certainly appreciate the initiative coming forward, and hope we can make something happen.
Thank you guys very much for your time. I really do appreciate it, and hopefully you can hear back from me soon.
You bet. Thank you.
And sorry for going over my allotted 10 minutes.
I
know you've had a long day.
Mr. Visser, it was well worth it. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Josh.
Moving on to the chair's report, I think, is section H, the Chilliwack Hockey Parents Petition.
Move receipt.
Second.
Any discussion on this? It's just for information.
I have one comment that parallels with the note I sent earlier today.
Yes. So did you want to speak to that now?
Well, I could. Thank you, Chair. Chilliwack Minor Hockey has suspended their season indefinitely at this time. Be due to outbreaks in their community, in the sporting community, and there was a thing the other day from a gymnastics club, and so, yeah, Chilliwack Minor Hockey has suspended their season. So I think this is a moot point.
So the petition would be they can go in and watch nobody play.
I would believe that would be the process.
All right. Really, it's not a laughing matter. It's
No,
pretty
sad.
very unfortunate on all counts. But so do we have a motion to receive?
Move receipt.
Second.
Yeah, we already have a motion. Thank you.
Okay. I thought we did. I just it has been a long day. Any further discussion on this?
I have one comment. I did receive a call from a grandparent who was really upset that she couldn't go and watch her grandkids play in the arenas, and she couldn't understand why. And this is just a phone message. I didn't get to talk to her. I tried to call her back, but I didn't get an answer. But she was just screaming over the phone about the fact that she couldn't watch the kids play. And I just wonder how much the public understands how serious this COVID thing is, and that we can't take chances.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Lee. And I will say that all of the Strathcona Garden staff and Ms. Garak and Commissioner Grunnerud and myself did host a user groups meeting at Strathcona Gardens, and went through all of the issues and challenges that we have. And while not everyone was happy about the discussion, I think it was appreciated, given the opportunity to hear their frustration and concerns, but also for us to clearly state the obligations and risks that we need to adhere to the provincial health authority.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do get, when anybody receives anything like that, just share that with staff, just so we maintain a record of it.
I know at the library, whenever we get complaints about why aren't the library doors being flung wide open, we basically have a standard response about WorkSafe BC regulations and how we're trying to slowly open our facilities to the public without taking any risks, without putting anyone, the staff or the public, at risk. And so we've sent out about 100 of those letters. Yep. To people that just don't understand that we're in the middle of a serious pandemic.
Even if they do understand, they don't want to hear it. Commissioner Gunner?
I would just like to comment that some of this issue of parents or minor hockey putting pressure on arenas and buildings to host spectators has been taken out of our hands because Vancouver Island Amateur Hockey Association has taken the bull by the horns and said there will be no spectators at any games sanctioned by Vancouver Island Amateur Hockey, which is all minor hockey games, male or female. So nobody needs to knock on our door anymore because it's come down from a higher authority in the hockey community. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for that. So we'll move on to the staff reports. Strathcona Gardens Energy Efficient Upgrade Project.
Move receipt.
Thank you.
Second.
Seconder, and to it's CAO. Anything?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think Wolf will speak to this.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to provide everybody an update to the Energy Efficiency Upgrade Project, more specifically to the supply and the installation of 1 dehumidifier for Arena 2 and 3 air handling units. First of all, I just want to thank, we have Corinne and Ryan in this meeting. They have been very helpful, and I really appreciate that. Also, the new manager, Robin Kentrop, who has been pretty much supporting me on site. It's really hard to be on both sides at the same time. So that has been a great help to this project, and for that, I'm very grateful. We have had a few challenges related to the delivery of these units coming from overseas. We overcame those challenges, and I'm very happy to share with all of you that all 3 units and the dehumidifiers, 1 dehumidifier is currently sitting on the roof of the building. That is great news. We also had some challenges with the crane. The contractor wasn't able to actually have a crane that's got the capacity to lift this heavy equipment. Everything is being completed today. That task was done last week, and right now they're proceeding with the electrical, plumbing, and duct installations, and we're on track to have the commissioning and start up of the dehumidifier on November the 13th. If we run into issues, they planning to work on that weekend on the 14th and the 15th, and the goal is to have everything ready for the 3rd week of November, which will take us to the deadline that we agreed to the contractor in the past. For the air handling units, the target is to have all 3 air handling units completed by the end of this month. That as well has been agreed in the contract that we signed with Nelson Roofing and Sheet Metal. So the great news is that we're on track. We're here on schedule, and things are going well. I haven't had any surprises with change orders, which is great, and I believe there has been good communication with Strathcona Gardens as well. No incidents when it comes to safety for this project, and that is my update. I welcome any questions that you have.
Excellent. Thank you, Wolfgang. Any questions from the commission? I'll just make the comment that just tremendous job by all of the staff under extraordinary circumstances. I had mentioned at the ICE user meeting that the installation of the air handling units and the dehumidifier and the projected timeline for the ice going in would be great news for the user groups. However, I would probably get an earful from the pickleball group that are going to lose their space on rink 2. I'll share with you that the City of Campbell River approved in the 2021 budget, all things going well, that we'll install some pickleball courts at Rob Braun Field. So that will provide some relief, but not through the winter months. So with that, anybody opposed to the receiving of the Energy Efficient Upgrade Project report? Hearing none. Strathcona Gardens restart update for receipt, please.
Move receipt.
Second.
And over to staff.
Corinne?
Through the CEO and through the chair and to the commissioners, thank you. The report that is being presented today is in a string of reports that we have done since COVID, and to give you an update of the services that we have activated and where we're at. And in this report, we're at the state where we're getting closer to that Arena 2 and putting it in. And there's some logistical things that we have outlined in the report that shows you the kind of things that we have to think about when activating Arena 2. So as you've been briefed in previous commission meetings, you will be well aware that we have to treat each one of our services as individual standalone amenities. And some of that incurs some different complications that have to be thought of when activating these spaces. For Arena 2, that means we keep it as a separate standalone facility and have to think about it accordingly. So you will know that we have opened up the change rooms in the Arena 2, the largest change rooms, to allow for gameplay on Arena 1 in the Rod Brendamore Arena. In the Rod Brendamore Arena, where we have gameplay, the larger dressing rooms that are in Arena 2 allow us to service that facility. That means when we open up Arena 2, there would be no access to dressing rooms. This sheet of ice would be a standalone sheet of ice and would be accessed from separate doors and exits from the Rod Brendamore Arena and how we're accessing it currently now. That means that there are some additional incurred costs that you will see in the report that we will need in order to have a staging tent placed outdoors, an all-season one that allow us to handle that through the winter. Rubber matting and portable toilets in order to service that arena. So these additional costs are outlined in the report, and also included in this report is an update on the aquatics area and some opening up of services on the aquatic side, giving our public a little bit more opportunity to enjoy the services that we have opened in that area, whether that's first thing in the morning, opening up times and opening up services like our dressing rooms for those people that require dressing room spaces. So with all of this, it is a fluid circulation of things that happen from week to week, including that of spectators. And I did highlight the direction of spectators and what is associated with our decision not to. And like Cal had said, and as written into the report, both the Campbell River Storm, through discussions with them, and the Vancouver Minor Amateur Hockey, both have indicated not requesting spectators at this time. So it seems like that issue has kind of gone to rest for right now, but we do anticipate looking at some guidelines through the BCRPA on when and if appropriate to open up spectators down the road, how that would be managed in Strathcona Gardens. So that's my report. If you have any, that's our report. If you have any questions, both Ryan and I are on the line and would take any questions you might have about the reopening plans and the recommendation about reactivating Arena 2. Thank you.
Move receipt of Corinne's report. Move receipt.
I think we already have it received and seconded. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I have a question. Would this be
first?
Okay.
Thank you, Chair. One question, Corinne, is the staging tent and the rubber matting purchase or rentals?
So the rubber matting is being purchased because we feel it's the best and that they can be repurposed somewhere down the road. And we utilize rubber matting quite frequently in this facility. So having the rubber matting and not leasing it or not renting rubber matting and purchasing is the right decision. We did look at lease options for the portable tent and have determined that there is better value in actually purchasing the tent than to lease it at a much higher cost.
Agreed, and it could be used in the future for welcoming tent for events or whatever might come down the pipe. So I think those are good decisions to purchase both of those. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're
Commissioner Lee?
This sounds like a perfect kind of expenditure to come out of that 589,000 that our CAO mentioned at the beginning of the meeting for COVID-related costs.
I was thinking the same thing, Commissioner Lee. Ms. Garak or Ryan, thoughts?
So I know those discussions are happening internally with the demands of the regional district. And of course, I'll be part of the discussions with our senior leadership team on the allocation of those funds and where that's allocated. But we are tracking our costs associated with COVID-19 at the facility, both from an expenditures and from the revenue point of view.
Just stepping a little bit outside on this, since it was brought up regarding that funding, with the presentation that we had today on from Mr. Visser, is that something that staff would look at or consider that may be a Strathcona Gardens operation?
It could be. There was 6 or 7 points within the letter that we received that said that the funds could be applicable to a number of things, and I did see there was some electronic equipment, so on and so forth. So we're going to go through those things and then come back with a recommendation about what's eligible and what we think would be useful.
Thank you. It may be an opportunity just for another added amenity from Strathcona Gardens for the community. So sure. I'll leave that with staff. So on receipt, is anyone opposed? That is carried. And B, that the commission endorsed the restart plan.
Second.
Any further information from staff on this?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Hearing anything from Commissioner Babchuk?
Thank you. I just have a question. I've just been hearing lately that there is a lot of recreation facilities as they're opening up that are making mandatory masks for people that are moving around the facility once they are out of their recreational activity. So I didn't see that in any of the reports, and I was just wondering if it's something that we have considered.
Yes, thank you for your question and inquiry about that. As the Dr. Henry suggested last week, I believe, and on a quote, she said that it's now the expectation that people wear a mask indoors. So we're using similar alignment in all of our protocols and updated our protocols to going with that same alignment of it is the expectation that people wear masks. It's not mandatory. We're not using the word mandatory right now. We're using what the PFO has suggested, that it's the expectation that people wear a mask, knowing that we do have people that may be compromised by wearing a mask. But in all of our spaces, we did update signage with please wear a mask, that it is the expectation that people do. For the most part, we're seeing about 95% compliance on that without even really having to do anything more than that. When people enter our facility, even as staff, you know, we park in the parking lot, we put our mask on, and the only time you see us without a mask is when we're in our office spaces. If we're outside of our office spaces, we're wearing masks.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's excellent. And thank you for bringing that up, Commissioner Babchuk, soon to be MLA and ex-SRD and. But I will make the suggestion to Mr. Leach that he liaise with the City of Campbell River manager, Ms. Sargent, because I know discussions on mask wearing is going on, and if both organizations are aligned, it makes things a lot easier on everybody.
Will do, yep.
So anybody opposed to 2B as presented? Hearing none, we'll move to section 3, leisure involvement for everyone life program.
Move receipt.
Move receipt. It's Commissioner Babchuk. Thank you.
Second.
We have a seconder, Commissioner Evans, and
Corrine again.
Through the CEO and through the chair to the commissioners, regarding the Leisure Access for Everyone, the LIFE program, otherwise known as our subsidy program year. As we've been reopening services under COVID-19, one of the unique programs that we have that fall under a joint kind of umbrella with the city of Campbell River is the subsidy program, otherwise known called as the LIFE program. And with the reactivation of services and that we were just not having drop-in services, this program was not being something that we were introducing at the time when we were reopening services. As we started opening up more services, including predominantly the pool, when it started coming online, then the requirement for people utilizing the pool was looking at being this program coming back, and that we would then proceed with the similar LIFE program that we had pre-COVID. This report outlines some of the challenges associated with activating the LIFE program, given that we have limited spots, limited spacing, everything is on a registered basis only. The report also outlines kind of the things that people are in the community struggling with right now. And we recognize as staff that these services are part of our community wellness and the betterment of our community. That being said, we did put in a recommendation that we take part of the LIFE program and maintain it with the three programs at 50% off, but remove the drop-in that were of the 104 free passes. At this point, we would minimize those anyway, but it's really hard to facilitate the drop-ins under the services that we're actually doing at Strathcona Gardens at this point.
Excellent, thank you. Anything further? On receipt, anyone opposed? That is carried. And on B?
Move the recommendation. Second.
Thank you. Anything further? I just want to compliment Corinne and staff for being proactive on this. We know that people are really hurting, and this is just a way to provide some relief. But I will caution that what we're seeing at other facilities, and as Commissioner Gunnerud had said, Chilliwack Minor Hockey is just shut down completely. That we're one wrong step away from having to do the same. So it's just to do that extra level of due diligence that I know staff are doing. So thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone opposed? That's carried. Item 4, 2020 preliminary surplus report.
Move receipt.
Second.
And any discussion?
Well, if I can, Mr. Chair, I'm going to once again try not to steal too much of Mike's thunder here. He does all the hard work, and I come out and speak on his behalf. But we're doing something a tad bit different this year because of COVID, and trying to understand the temperature out there for people's financial abilities. So I know there's some anxiety in many local governments about upcoming budgets and what kind of surpluses we're generating. So I think Corrine and her team have done a great job with what we've been through this year, and in projecting, as you can see here, a higher than budgeted surplus coming into the year. So, just trying to alleviate any anxieties about what next year's budget's going to look like. So we don't feel it's appropriate to bring any business cases to the commission. So we're bringing a Q3 report that says we're about, 250,000 additional surplus we're projecting to the end of the year. I think we're being quite conservative about that. We're anticipating and working hard towards a no requisition increase in the 2021 budget. And then, our real effort will be in 2021, yeah, depending on how long COVID's out there and you know how much limited availability we have in the facility for people to come and visit, what that will look for. So I think the tougher question, although I have a plan for it in 2022, is 2021 budget is looking good. We're looking fine. We are going to take that surplus and use it appropriately, and then work diligently in 2021 to make sure that we can do the same thing in 2022 and keep requisition levels level. So again, we're looking pretty good. So what our plan here is to just bring this to the Commission's attention. No business cases coming forward, and what we'll do in January at the next Commission is bring in year-end numbers, assessment numbers, and a draft budget, and kind of leaving you with expectation that it's going to be a pretty easy one for you. Now, Mike, I'm sorry, I don't know if I left anything for you on the table, but once again, I apologize.
No, I think you pretty much covered it. I guess the only thing I'd point out is we're showing you on the summary the sales of service line. So we do get about 1.5 million in sales that come through all the various avenues, and it's anybody's question is how fast that is going to come back given all the requirements and the chaos out there. So, thank you.
Thank you. Hurry up and wait, I think, is the
yeah.
So anybody opposed to receipt of the preliminary 2020 surplus report? That is carried. Anything further for the Commission?
Move adjournment.
Second.
So just before I entertain that, Mr. Leach, when is the deadline or anticipation on our grant application?
Well, the submission date, that's for Recreate?
Yes.
Yeah, so our submission date has come and gone. We obviously submitted now. We had an election, and now, you know, shortly they're all going to get back to work. I recommend if anyone has any connection to the local MLA to hit that individual up as hard as they can. I know I personally am. I know where she lives, so and
We know
I
where
think
to find you.
yeah, and so I think once everyone's back working, the expectation was that we would know something early in the new year. But, you know, I don't know with COVID and everything what their timelines are. We are ourselves going out to procure for design. We're moving forward with that with the Commission's direction. We've submitted our application and we're busy doing our work. So concurrently, we're hopeful that ideally in the spring that we're given an award and we have our design in place and we continue hitting the ground running. So kind of spring award was what we were working towards for completion of our design and just to continue our process. But obviously that's contingent on when those awards will be announced.
Okay, it may be worth just connecting with provincial staff, knowing that there is a significant changeover and MLAs may change cabinet portfolios. So to stay connected with staff and also let them know that we are putting our money, just reiterating that we're putting our money where our mouth is and going ahead with those detailed designs to ensure that the project is design shovel ready and we're ready to go.
Yep, we're on that.
Good. So on termination, anybody opposed? We are terminated, and staff, thank you for the work that you did on the restart, on the users meeting. I know it's been a really trying time, and Wolfgang with the installation of all the mechanical, just an outstanding job by everybody. So thank you.
Thank you, staff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate that.